Good morning. Again, I'll echo what they said. Thank you for coming, and thank you for making Bishop England possible for our students. It is interesting. Mrs. Tucker had this 50th anniversary book in her office the other day, and I asked her if I could look at it because I am intrigued by everything Bishop England, especially our past. In here, there is a quote from Doc O'Brien that says, "Give me 2 typewriters in the classroom and I'll start a high school." We've been doing that ever since. Okay? So when we started with our focus on spiritual, intellectual, and physical formation of young men and women, and that's where we were. In March, when the pandemic hit and the status of school was unknown, we rose to the occasion and made 2 typewriters, or actually a webcam, and a few computers, and we had a high school. Our teachers in 2 days learned how to teach virtually, and it was an amazing thing to see. We never stopped what we did on a day-to-day basis. Our kids continue to learn, and our teachers continue to teach. That's what we do. And we kept contact with our kids continuously so they knew they were loved. That's important. At the end of last year, the financial impacts of the pandemic started to hit us. And again, we put a call out to our Bishop England family, and they answered the call like they always do. We raised nearly $50,000 in tuition assistance to ensure that no student would go without a Bishop England education because of what happened in the pandemic. It's an amazing thing to see. It's not surprising, but a beautiful thing. And although we waited a little while, the class of 2020 got to celebrate their graduation. We pushed it back a month, and then we pushed it back an hour, and then we pushed it back another hour because of rain. And our people, our parents and our students stood in the rain to watch their kids graduate. And while it was a little bit different, it was still a great display of everything that Bishop England believes. Our kids, our teachers, our staff, our alumni are amazing, and they make that possible. We were able to send it out, live stream it to those who could not attend, and that's the first time we've done that. We were over here at our stadium. Is beautiful. Then started the conversation about the 2020-21 school year, and what will we do? Will we keep the virtual part of it like we've done in the spring? Was that the best for our kids? Will we come back 100% like some of our smaller schools around were doing, or was it something in between? We had talked about that, and we made the decision to go what we call the hybrid model. And I was talking to, and I won't embarrass him too much, but Mr. Mummert, who's in the crowd here, he and I were talking one day about how to make this work, and I was sitting in his boardroom, and he had this long, skinny camera that we had used for a baccalaureate mass, and I said, what about those? I said, we can use one of those and 2 TVs in the back of the classroom, and so our teachers could teach, and the kids at home could see them and participate in class. And so that's what we did. We divided our kids alphabetically. 50% of them came on the Bishop days, and 50% came on the England days. And when they weren't on campus, they were at home learning, and they are participating in the class. You'd walk around the hallway, and you hear the voices of the kids at home talking to the teacher, just as if they were sitting in the back of the room. That model has caught on to several schools in our area. And so we have a principal coming today to take a look at that. And it's a nice thing that we are able, once again, to lead in education here in Charleston. If you walk through the school, you'll notice a few things. We have plexiglass in places we haven't had it before. We have in our classrooms. We have sinks where water fountains used to be. We have hand sanitizers all over the place. And we have a company that comes in the evening and they fog every room and ensure that it's safe for our kids. And thankfully, and to this point, by the grace of God, we have no positive cases here at our school. And that's something to be said. Yes, that's an amazing thing. And while the hybrid model was a huge success and our kids kept moving forward, it just wasn't the same. It wasn't a complete Bishop England education. So this past Monday we made a decision, but this past Monday we brought all our kids back to campus who wanted to be on campus. And you should have seen their faces, even with the mask on, they were excited to be here, and they were excited to see the rest of their friends. And so we continue with the videotaping of every classroom and a TV in the back because we have several families out of whatever concern their student is staying home. And they participate as if they were in the class. I was walking by Dr. Hellstrom's class, and she has a 100% at-home student, and they were carrying on a conversation as if that young man was sitting right next to her talking about what was happening. That's something that our teachers have spent extra time doing with their lesson plans to make sure they can reach the kids in the class and the kids at home. And that is what BE is all about. That's the 2 typewriters in a classroom to make it work. That's what we do. The care we have for our students has led to an increase in enrollment. We're currently at 684 students. We ended the school year with 665 students. We have a waiting list for a couple of our classes for transfer students. So people are noticing what we're doing as a school, and that's a big thing. In amongst all this chaos, we had a tragedy. We lost one of our alumni who drowned, Russell McLaughlin, and in that tragedy, our community came together and did what we normally do. We prayed, we cried, we supported the family, and then we wanted to look at how we could remember him for the rest of his life, or the rest of our life. We created a scholarship. A scholarship was created by one of our families to go to a student in need. And then the idea of the Rust Bus came up. And so we are in desperate need of a new large bus. The Father Kelly is 20 years old now, Coach, and it's showing its age, so we need a new one. And so we started the campaign for the Rust Bus, and right now we have $115,000 of the $150, so we're $35,000 away from making that a reality for our kids. I don't know if you know this, but our athletic program relies on those buses, and our other programs, students rely on those buses to get around to different sporting events, different events, once we get back to what we can normally do. As far as athletic goes, we're playing. I was telling Miss Rooney, our girls tennis team played last night, and they beat, I can't remember who they beat, and Camden. They beat Camden. And as I was telling her, our girls tennis team and our boys tennis team are still undefeated on our Michael Rooney tennis courts. And they play on Tuesday, our girls do, against Oceanside for the lower state championship. And if you have a chance to come out, you can come out and watch. You have to stay 10 feet away from the fence, but you can still come watch. It's beautiful. Our football team is playing. They play tonight against Hanahan. It's our homecoming. Homecoming's strange this year. We still have our homecoming court, and so we're not live streaming this game. But if you can come, there's tickets available. Or are there? No tickets available, Coach says. So at least pray for us that we have a good game.
Yeah.
It's on TV. That's right. It's a TV game. So watch us on TV. Also, during this chaos, we had a family approach us out of the blue with the focus on bringing minority students in a Catholic education to Bishop High School. So we added a scholarship, a full tuition scholarship for this child to go 4 years. And I didn't take Latin in school, but it's ad majorem Dei Gloria. Did I do okay? For those who did it, okay? For the greater glory of God. And it was a beautiful gift. And when we approached the young lady for her gift, her and her mom were overwhelmed by that part of it. But it guarantees the bishoping education for this young lady for 4 years. And that's one of the things that our BE family does, is we support those because we know the value of what happens here every day. We are blessed to have Father Frimmel here. He came to us from Cardinal Newman, and he has hit the ground running. We have Mass weekly here in the gymnasium, as we always did, and we split our kids up, and he celebrates Mass twice a week. We have adoration on Fridays. He sets that up for us, and we have faculty and staff and students who monitor adoration. We have reconciliation opportunities throughout the week for all our school community. And Father Frimmel has been around He ran with the cross-country team once, I think, and then he was sore for 5 days. He stood around and watched football practice a few times, and he watched the girls' tennis for a few times, but he's active in our kids' lives, and that's a beautiful thing to see. Bishop England has overcome many obstacles. This is no different. While the rest of the world wonders of what they're going to do, our idea is simple. Focus on the kids and what we need to do every day to make them better people. And that's all we do. Be it virtual, be it the hybrid, or be it they're back here at campus. That's what we do because that's what BE Web.